So after 15 years of Chicago winters, I've learned some things the hard way. Today is the first snow of the season. It's a good way to test to see if I remember any of the things I've learned. The gear, the mindset, all the little things I keep forgetting every year, and I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, let's talk cycling mindset. Being on a bike in the snow is like an adventure. The bike handles differently. You have to be a little bit more cautious. Not a lot of people are out doing it. It feels like you're exploring. There's sometimes a nice quietness in the snow. It just deadens the sound. It is beautiful. If you want to bike through the winter, I know this is Captain Obvious, but just don't stop once it gets colder. Don't give yourself permission. Just keep going, and you'll gradually, adjust to the weather rather than trying to take weeks off and then get going again. Some biking things I've learned with snow. This new bike with bigger mountain bike tires seems to be great. I've done it with little tiny road bike for years and years, and that worked. It just kind of cuts down into the snow. The main thing is obviously just keep a straight line. The moment you turn, the bike wants to slide out from underneath you, so turn slow and gradually. A fluffy light snow over ground or pavement is going to be no problem most of the time. To me, having compacted black ice with a layer of snow over it, that's scary. So keeping an eye out for that. Typically, I just go further out in the road though, when the weather's bad. Or if I'm on a trail, I just go a little bit slower. Here's the nice thing about biking in the city in the winter too, is people tend to give you more room. Look at this car giving me a ton of room. I think it's just they know the conditions are slippery and maybe their bandwidth for cyclists is higher because there's not a bunch of them on the road. And so people do tend to give you more room in the winter, which is cool. Would a fat bike be fun for the 1 or 2 times an entire year or season I could use it? Probably, but it's so not necessary. This bike, I'm loving it. Yeah, 100%. You gotta keep that bike lubed, you gotta rinse it off or it's gonna rust. My feeling is bikes are meant to be used. Bikes are meant to get beat up, parts are supposed to be replaced. I love this bike and I love that it is so overbuilt, and I don't wanna ride a bike that's got thinner tires like my gravel bike in the snow. I wanna get to actually use this bike this season, so. It's also not the most expensive bike in the world with the most expensive components. If you have a nice bike, you might want a winter bike as well, just a beater. Okay, temperatures. Every year I keep forgetting what temperature means what. And truly, 35 and 25 are very different. 25 and 15, 15 and 5, all of those 10-degree increments are wildly different, and you have to prepare differently and remember. In addition to temperatures changing, the other temperature rules to think about, what's not getting cold in 2 miles will get cold probably in 6 miles, and just keep extending that out and have layers to adjust. So hands and feet are definitely the hardest part to keep warm. Everything else gets too warm really quick. So, I don't know, 35s, I can kind of make it with just these little knit gloves. I do use merino wool gloves in case they get wet. Merino is supposed to be able to hold in some heat still. Get into the 20s and I'm going ski gloves. You have the lobster gloves that combine both fingers. So it's gonna keep your fingers a lot warmer and still give you some dexterity to maneuver with the brakes. And then if you need to, you can double them up. But at some point, and I don't know if it's below 10, you have to have pogies. You start getting down to 5, 1 degree wind chill of negative something. I haven't found a glove yet. If you have found one, please let me know. That will stop the cold wind. I'll put a little link to all this gear in the description. It'll be an Amazon affiliate link. It doesn't cost you any more to use it, but it does help promote the channel. I just get a little percentage back. I will not recommend anything I wouldn't actually use myself. Here's these little neoprene footies. You just put them over your toes, and honestly, it almost doesn't matter what shoes you're wearing if they're like really like breathable shoes. These things cut the wind and keep the warmth in so good. These are brilliant. Game changer. In addition to that, I have these shower pass rain booties that I stinking love. They go right over your shoes, and again, something nice to bring if you don't want to mess with bringing a whole nother pair of shoes, or you don't have waterproof boots on, then you can just go ahead and just throw these right over your shoes. Also, guaranteed to like keep your feet a heck of a lot warmer. Okay, head and face. For face is a little bit tricky too. You're breathing out so much air. I have like a thin merino wool buff that it's just enough to kind of incubate, but let some steam out. You have to kind of like rotate as it gets wet. And when it is like in the single digits, I'll do a neoprene face mask like this. Look how stupid it looks. Even this thing with like the holes in it and the space for the nose, it will inevitably just get steamed out and wet. But I do think that neoprene holds in a little bit of heat when it's wet. Face is the hardest part. It's also tricky when you have something over your face. If you try to wear any glasses, those glasses, as soon as you stop moving, they want to steam up. Sometimes I try to wear them, sometimes I don't. The thing that I have never found to work is ski goggles. I feel like ski goggles work too much like a blinder and just cut off too much vision for me in a scary sort of way. But maybe there's better ski goggles out there that open up your side of vision. Okay, so this literally lives right on my bike, right in here. Dermatone? It's a face chapstick. So it's made for skiers, 30 SPF. If I don't start putting this on my face like right away when I leave the door on most all cold rides, my face just gets ruined. It gets so windburned and red and chapped. And once it gets that way, it's like so hard for it to heal in the winter. So if you want too much information, what does that even go like into a nostril a little bit? Because I get like, dry nostril. Too much info. A little tip as far as like a hat goes. I have a very thin little hat for my bald head that I keep on, but I also bring this year-round cap with me. And if ever like my hat gets too sweaty, I can just literally put this on instead, or put this on the bottom and then put this back over top. Or if it's just way too cold, and so you can kind of like layer away from the most sweaty level. So let's talk base layers. I get warm like crazy. So I've been wearing like breathable sweaters. Basically, if I took this off and was like biking in the wind just cuts right through this, which is great to have that option. And then I'll put on something like a vest, this little mini vest, and it can split the difference for me. My arms don't usually get that cold. But this thing, I try not to ever let it leave my bike. It's so small and light and packable, and it honestly makes a crazy difference. You could take an outfit that's not warm enough, you put this thing on, and suddenly it just kind of like works perfectly. And then if you get too cold, you can just take this thing off, or you can put another layer over top of it. Love this vest. I can't recommend it more. Very good vest. My forte 9 times out of 10 is bring a rain jacket. I just have a Patagonia rain jacket like this. I let my under layer be the thick layer that holds in the heat if the shell blocks out the breeze. And then you can vent. It's the nice thing about rain jackets is they have these great vents in it. You can put on a hood if you need to. And then if it starts raining, which is a pretty big deal if it's this cold, you are not out of luck. Being soaking wet in the cold isn't an option. This is also nice and light and compactable too. It is absurdly silly how many years it took me biking in Chicago weather to be like, what am I doing? I can't just wear pants and multiple layers on top. Like, I wouldn't do that with a shirt. why am I doing this with my pants? So I finally went and got just like a thin pair of tights to put underneath. It's perfect. And then as the weather's gotten colder, just getting some really thick merino wool tights and having those an option, you'll be so toasty. But if it's wet and sloppy out, rain pants seem like the way to go. These are some pretty thick shower pass rain pants. And if you wear these, you don't need a like merino wool base layer. I want to say this, if you can have a bag that always lives on your bike, it is such a game changer to always have your gear with you all the time for cold weather season. I can't tell you how much of a bustle and a hustle it is coming into work and like getting stuff off and putting it down and like going and finding things. It's just so much that having a big frame bag like this is wonderful. I had a partial frame bag that I used to do that in too. That's great. Obviously, if you have a basket or something, or even just like a backpack that's like a cold weather gear backpack that you can just load up and keep loaded and ready to go, highly recommend it. Luckily, I feel like the majority of the time I'm biking, the snow is not sloppy and slushy. It's either frozen and dry, or it's probably been plowed already, 9 times out of 10. However, for those days where it is still sloppy, fenders are huge. The way snow catches on those tires and just throws it up on your feet and your back can honestly make you soaked by the time you get to work and completely gross. These fenders, I love them, they're great. I do now have 2.35-inch tires, and these were from my last gravel bike, so it's probably time to replace it. And then just kind of a connected to the back seat stem thing works pretty good. Having visibility in low visibility conditions, or it's just getting dark so much earlier. It gets dark at like 4:30 now. Having really good light is important. I do have 2 other lights that I normally use, but I broke both of them. I'm gonna link them as I do like them, but know that I broke the button on the red rear light, just pushing too hard, and then the front headlamp, the BCR something, it's a Phoenix headlamp. They do have a lifetime warranty on it, so I'm gonna send that back in and see if they'll fix it. It seems like once it jiggles, the light goes out. But they're super bright. If you've got some tips of things you learned, put them please in the comments. I still think I wanna find like a really good pair of lobster claw gloves, just so I'm not dealing with taking the pogies on and off and not being able to ring my bell. So if you got a tip for that, if you've ever done anything different for your face than the neoprene face mask or the merino wool buff that you like, that would be good to know. Hey, if this video was fun for you, I have a lot more gear videos, which I'll link a playlist to, but also I've made a lot of videos that are just biking around town. My most recent video is probably the most Chicago video I've ever made. It is the lakefront trail, and the spots are just beautiful in the autumn time. So if you like this video, maybe you check out one of those that are a little bit more about the ride, or some more of my gear videos. Anyways, thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate everyone who likes and subscribes and comments. It makes it feel like it's a community. This is a small channel, and it goes a very long way whenever you do any of those things. So thank you. It's the easiest way to help support this channel. And I really appreciate all the people who take the time.